just came from the gym.
Really?
Really what?
Why would you slurp like that?
That's me. We just came from the gym, right? And we putting in that work. I was like, bae, I know what we can talk about today. If you hear like some footsteps, it's our dog walking around, just creeping around, sniffing the door. But yeah, what I say, I was like, oh yeah, we could talk about that because I was basically saying that I guess when I was like younger and doing this I guess freelance thing, I kind of shied away from putting in the work, if you know what I'm saying. Could you agree? You know what work I'm talking about?
Yeah, expound on like what work.
So I'm talking about internal work.
Okay.
Like, how do I put this? So I used to see other people doing stuff and I got jealous. Mm-hmm. I either got jealous or I just compared myself to them. So there's like an amount of work I wasn't doing on the inside of me to make sure that when I see people succeed in that, I don't go right into, oh, let me do something better, or man, they ain't really like that, or like hating, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's the work I was talking about. But I mean, there's a bunch of other work.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just clarifying because a lot of people think they are putting in the work based on their outward things they're doing, grinding, hustling, that type of work, right?
Right.
But I was, just trying to clarify. I'm like, there's different types. There's internal and then there's external.
Yeah.
So, I mean, me personally, I don't know if I can necessarily. I've had periods where I realize I'm not putting in the work internally, but I think for a long time, since a young age, I've been aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think it's instilled in me in a sense.
To put in that internal work.
Yeah. To start there. Like it all starts here and then to live from the inside out, really. So.
Yeah. I think growing up every now and then I would get that lesson, but it wasn't something that was like pushed. Like, especially like with the church I went to, people I hung around. I didn't really start realizing that the internal work was important until I like met you, honestly. So turned my life around. But I was the one that was putting in like all of the like physical work. Like I'm a cinematographer, videographer, musician. So all my like energy would go into just doing. Doing. Let me do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. Even sometimes today, I still deal with the pressure of doing work. Cause like, I still see people in my field, like just putting mad content out, like ridiculous. And I'm over here doing like spiritual work, like, like getting up, doing devotionals, like that stuff I'm trying to focus on more, but I still find myself thinking I need to put in more physical work first, if you know what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking I need to make that a priority when I really don't. But that's just how I feel sometimes.
It's interesting because I just feel kind of like opposite almost. I didn't really start feeling the work pressure, like the outer works pressure, until I started adulting for real. Like after we got married, moved in together, that's when I started to notice more like I'm starting to gear more towards like just work. Mm-hmm. That sometimes I forget like, okay, I need to prioritize my mental, emotional, and spiritual health.
Yeah.
Especially like, I don't know. I'm starting to realize, and I hope I'm not like going off topic with this, but I'm starting to realize that my works almost are more so like making sure that everyone else is all right.
Got you.
And like everyone else has what they need, but not works motivated for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we was talking about that too.
Yeah.
I will say this though. it's like when you're not doing that spiritual work or spending that time with God, that's when all the physical work seems to be like too much. That's what I notice about me. Because I mean, when you're adulting, you have a lot to do. Like there's a lot to do, especially if you got a kid, a dog, run a business like we do. Got a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? Just all this extra stuff. And I mean, we're not meant to carry it on our own for sure. So that internal work time with God is always important. But I just want to talk about this ambitious thing. Like when you say like you don't want to be ambitious for yourself, I was like kind of combating that. Like I was against that for a second because I'm like, but I think there's a certain amount of work you have to do for yourself in order to help other people. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like, I feel like as a musician or just a cinematographer, there is a certain amount of work I have to do in order to obtain a living for my family. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is for the money comes to me, but it's not necessarily for me. So, I mean, I just think as long as you have a good reason as to why you're doing this. Like, why are you working so hard? You working so hard for yourself? Yeah. Or are you working so hard because you want to help people provide a living for your family and things of that nature? So that's kind of what my intentions turned into when I met you, your mom, your dad, you know, Holy Nation, shout out Holy Nation. It's just my motive because I see the people in the circle that we're around. Like I see their motives and it's like, man, that's really pure. So I'm trying to tap into that. Yeah. So
I think like when it comes to the ambitious portion, when I had communicated to you that I didn't feel like I was an ambitious person, I think it was like almost like a bit of comparison in there. Like I'm seeing how other people pursue things and I feel like I don't pursue them with that same fervor or like, I don't know, like there's just that I feel like I don't have that fire that I see in other people like you or you know what I'm saying? So it's like I felt like, well, maybe I'm not ambitious, right?
Right.
But I think ambition at the end of the day, kind of like what you were saying, it's all about what motivates you.
Yeah.
And so for me, inner health and wellness motivates me.
That motivates you.
And that even motivates me for other people.
Got you, because you want to see their mental health and stability, like progress.
Right.
That's good. But I was thinking about something you just said. You said you were basically comparing your fire, like how it looks. But I just like feel like everybody's fire looks different. Some people that have so much energy, like they just and then some people like you or me most of the time, like we're laid back with it, but we still got that fire. But we're just not going to be as loud about it, if you know what I'm saying. Some people, we're just made different. So don't compare yourself to people. You're made different. Your fire looks different. Your ambition looks different. Feels different. So try to get rid of that comparison.
I think it's important to just focus more on embracing your unique expression and give to the world. Yeah. Because I think that comparison is only going to force you into either not doing anything or trying to mold yourself into something that you're not. So just
true.
I mean, that's where the inner work comes in, right? Like you have to completely love and accept yourself to be able to express, you know, that gift that God placed only in you to give to the world. And if God called me to be fiery and loud and super energetic, I would be that without any struggle or forcing it, you know? And that's just not really the type of person I am. I can be, I don't even say I could really be loud, honestly.
It's like impossible for this woman to be loud, I'm telling you.
But like, you know, I can have my moments of like high energy, I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, my delivery is just true to who I am, and that's okay. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's.
I've been with this woman for 5 years. 5 years. Wow. And that's how long we've been together. Married.
5?
Yeah. Since 18,
Wow.
2018.
Time is flying.
And there's still certain times I can't hear her. Like, she just don't
Why did you
speak
have to even say
loud.
that?
I'm just letting them know, like, what I mean by it's hard for her to speak loud or even scream, but I ain't about to get on you, though.
I honestly think, like, the Lord, he just knew that in my family, there needed to be somebody to just dial it back a little bit. Yeah. He
You
just
say
was
your
like,
family loud.
yeah, I mean, my family's pretty loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent Christmas with her family this year, and yeah, they were
That's
pretty
fun.
loud. It wasn't like anything uncomfortable for me because I come from a
feel
loud
like your
family
family,
anyway.
yeah.
So it was like, hey, I mean, they from my mom's side from New York too. So, and my dad's side is pretty loud too. So,
Yeah, just
you think
gotta
I'm
come in.
loud
Yeah,
for real?
you can be.
Like do I have a loud personality? Take it
It's
too
like
long to answer.
it's like in between.
It's in between. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I say. I think they call it an amnivert.
Because I think if you really did, I don't know if I could.
Be with me.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like not to get me wrong, I love loud people. It's not that I don't like them. It's like I can't be around those types of people all
Yeah.
the time. So I feel like if you were that type of person, I couldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, and I couldn't.
Yeah. And like, I could be that person, but I was never going to force myself to be that person. Cause I mean, people like that do get more attention. If you know what I'm saying, like more people are
Extroverted.
surround them, extroverts. But I feel like I just accepted who I was. I'm like, all right, this is who I am. I can turn it on. I can turn it off. Like, and I feel like you definitely accepted who you are. You're just a more reserved, quieter person. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that kind of takes me to another topic, like knowing who you are. It's just like a slap in the face to God when you know who you are and you don't accept it. It's just like, I made you to be this and you're going to still try to do
like,
that?
in a sense, like know who you are and be it.
And be it, yeah.
Because I think, I don't know. I guess especially if you feel like you're really different, it's the only instance in where I would feel like it'd be hard to accept yourself.
So you're saying it's hard to accept yourself if you feel like you're very different?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like an instance in where you would know who you are and still choose not to accept. And
I feel like it happens every day to people.
true. I guess I'm like really like specific, so I'm like trying to think of an actual instance and where. Like,
All right, so I'll give you an example. I'll just take it to like me musically. Like I know I'm not the hard trap type of artist. And I've accepted that because there's so many like artists who are doing hard trap and it's just taking off. Like it's going viral, stuff like that. Because I mean, in a sense, that's what the world is used to hearing when it comes to like hip hop and trap, that hard trap. But I know I'm more of a kind of laid back hip hop type of, lyrics wise type of person. So I've accepted that's who I am when it comes to my music. Like that's what I'm called to do, type of music. But if I go try to make a really, really hard trap just to get like numbers and stuff like that, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do or being who I truly am type thing. You know that scripture, worship the Lord in spirit and in truth? I feel like that is my worship to God. And if I don't do it how he called me to do it, I'm not worshiping him in truth, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
So that I'll always have that in my head when I'm about to make some music or something. But like, is this true to who I am? If it's not, I just gotta, or I let you hear it and you be like, nah, that was trash. Usually it's trash. Usually it's trash when I'm not being who I am.
So that kind of pulled a question up.
What's up?
So how do you know when something isn't true to who you are versus like you are afraid to just do something different?
I can answer that first question. How do you know when something isn't true to who you are? I really think it depends on what sparks you to do it. Why did you get into graphic design and photography?
Why?
Yeah. Was it because somebody else was doing it?
No. It just kind of progressively happened. It was just like people were drawn to me, asking me to do things within that lane. Mm-hmm. And
it just happened.
I had a natural eye for it. And then I just decided I'll go to school for it.
Yeah.
And kind of improve on my skill set, like how to use certain programs and things like that. But,
yeah,
you know, the natural artistic ability was there and the creative eye was there.
Yeah.
So that's just something that, you know, you kind of, one of those things you kind of stumble into.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean by, like, it depends on what sparks it. Because there's some things that God sparks and there's some things that you spark out of comparison or like a longing to be noticed and heard. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, because I think like when it comes to videography, for me, it was literally something I stumbled on, but I had been doing it for years. Like back in the day, like when I was a kid, I was recording the family reunions, like me and my dad. Like it was just fun to us. So I had been doing that since I was a kid. But professionally, just kind of stumbled into it.
True.
I took a class one day because I was a mass comm major. And then our band, like assistant band director, I was like, do you have a camera I can borrow? He was like, I got one you can have. And I was just like, oh, well, thanks. So I just kind of stumbled into it. Started learning everything about it. So, but it was, I never like saw someone do it and was like, oh, I want to do that. Because they got this, they got that, you know, type thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an instance where I maybe thought that, but I can't really pinpoint one at the moment.
So you're thinking of one that you stumbled into or that
I'm trying to think of an instance where I saw someone doing something and I wanted to do it.
If that's the case, then you just always knew who you were and you accepted it.
I'm sure there's an instance. I just have to like really think about it.
True. We might have to come back to that.
I know. But I wanted to kind of get back to the works thing, right?
All right, yeah, we can get back to that. To what we're really talking about.
Right.
And you ain't drink none of your water yet.
I'm not thirsty yet. So at what moment, I guess, did you realize that you were outer works focused rather than inner work focused?
At what moment did I realize it? I don't think it was a moment though. It was just like an ongoing feeling I had of not feeling like I'm doing enough or I'm enough type thing. If you know what I'm saying. Because I was putting in a lot of work, but it still wasn't like giving me the result that I wanted, if you know what I'm saying. And like I was looking at YouTube videos, listening to people, you know, just talk about how to do this, how to do that. And I was doing it and it still wasn't working.
What do you mean it wasn't working?
Like I wasn't getting the result that I wanted type thing. So that was just an ongoing feeling I had.
But was it not working or were you in a period of growing?
What do you mean by that?
Like sometimes we feel like we're doing something and there's no reward, right? Or there's no results. But there's a growth period.
I mean, yeah. But when I say I wasn't getting the results I wanted, I'm saying I wasn't getting the results that other people were getting.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. And gotcha. I wanted those results.
Right.
So naturally, I just was like, oh, this is not working. What's really going on? And I was just missing that inner peace. That was around the time I made that short film, Peace.
Peace, yeah.
It was right around that time. And I was just like, and I read that scripture and I was just like, wow. I'm lacking peace because I'm doing everything that other people are doing. And it's not catered to me. Like what God called me to do is different. Like I don't have to go that route.
Right.
I can go a whole different route.
Right.
Because he knows the plans he has for me. He knows my future. So why would I do things that other people are doing when the thing he wants me to do is good for my future and it's a good plan. So
like, I feel like if you're doing the inner work, shouldn't the outer work be falling into place?
it should be, and I think it does.
But I think it's still a matter of how you view things, your perspective, right?
There you go.
So like, are you doing the proper inner work? Because sometimes I think sometimes we have we see our weak spots and we think, okay, I need to work on this. But ultimately, God knows what we truly need. So it's like, we can't embark on that journey fully, authentically, if we aren't asking him what we need to be working on.
Come on.
And then
Preach.
honestly, the outer things that are happening outside of us kind of show us what we need to.
That's facts.
Like God is almost showing us in a way, okay, this is where you need to focus on. But sometimes we just like, okay, I just need to read the Bible more. Or we're just like, well, I mean, yes, read the Bible more. But maybe like the Lord is trying to show you, like, you need to focus on your identity. Like, or you need to, or maybe he's trying to show you need to focus more on speaking the truth about yourself.
Or focus more on your confidence, stuff like that.
All that has to do with identity, right? But like, I think sometimes honestly, you think that you get it and then you don't have to revisit it. But
no, you
do have to
That's
revisit
true.
it, like, often. And that's the whole point. Like, that's what the enemy comes to do. He's trying to steal that from you. Mm-hmm. So it's so important to constantly be immersed in the truth of who God says you are, and practicing getting clear on, who he wants you to be in each and every season.
And that's like what the Bible talks about with renewing your mind. You could have got a word and you're running with it. But I feel like you have to, like you said, keep coming back to it so you don't forget it. Like, continue to renew your mind. That's some inner work right there. Like, being disciplined enough to be like, okay, a lie was told to me, but I'm going to go back and go over that truth that God told me. Like that type of work. I also wanted to say about the inner work, man. You said something else that just had me like, whoa. But it's like, why are you doing the inner work? Are we doing the inner work so we can receive the results that we wanted? Or are we doing the inner work just so we can be whole, like whole human beings, whole spiritually, mentally, physically? That's a question I encourage y'all to ask. Like, why are you doing this inner work? Why are you reading your Bible every day? Why are you praying every day? Why are you doing affirmations every day? Is it to be or to get? Is it to be or to get?
So I think a big thing too is remembering that we are whole, we are made whole. And the work is really every day walking in that wholeness and choosing to walk in that wholeness. Yeah. Despite what the world is trying to tell you should be, or what the enemy's trying to convince you you're not. That is the work, is being who God has already made you, and knowing you're already those things. You're already those good, lovely, pure, beautiful things. Mm-hmm. But you just have to pretty much keep retraining our mind to believe that. And it is a daily work that I want to encourage you. It never ends.
Every day.
But that's
never
okay.
Ends.
Like, it's okay that it doesn't end.
Right.
And I think a lot of us are trying to reach, this place of like, I finally got it.
Yeah.
I don't know nobody that's got it.
Nah. Me neither.
I know no one. So, I mean.
That means you're perfect.
Exactly.
Ain't no one's perfect, so.
And, we just have to enjoy the journey.
Yeah. We got to enjoy the work.
Yeah. Really, like, finding joy.
Finding joy in that work alone, man. Yeah. All right, so we just want to thank you guys for tuning in with us today as we talked about a lot, but mostly inner work, comparison, outer work, things of that nature. It's always a great time when I'm learning more about my wife. So I appreciate you for being on with me. And make sure you follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is at KKAHSO. It's going to be like right here or up there. I don't know. And
mine is Naja Creates.
And that's also going to be down there in the lower third. So yeah, just have a blessed day, blessed morning, blessed night, whatever time of day you're watching this. And yeah, peace.